What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here with your NFL playoff predictions for 2017. And we're going to start with the wildcard picks, advance our way through the divisional round, the conference titles, and the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 51, who will play in Super Bowl 51? I'll let you know right here. Who's going to win Super Bowl 51? I'll tell you that as well. I'll have some statistics, my own little chart breaking down which teams have the best chance to get to the Super Bowl. I'll go over all, the yardage, the points, the turnover differential, all those big statistics that, teams look at when who's a contender, who's a pretender in the playoffs right now. And we're going to go over the matchups starting in the wild card round. But if you're not already subscribed to the Bottom Line View, I suggest that you do subscribe and you hit your notification bell right there underneath this video, because we're going to be having a lot of coverage for the NFL playoffs. We're going to be recapping every game, whether it's your favorite team or not, or you just want to be caught up on the playoffs and the ins and outs of the game. I suggest that you subscribe to the Bottom Line View. If you're already subscribed, thanks guys for subscribing, and enjoy 2017 on the channel, because we're going to have a big 2017. But let's get into the predictions for the Super Bowl and the NFL playoffs for 2017. Let's start off in the wild card round. In the wild card round, we start off with the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Miami Dolphins. The 3 seed of the AFC, the Pittsburgh Steelers, will host the Miami Dolphins, who are the 6th seed, just squeaked in there. With Matt Moore, with Ryan Tannehill, we're not exactly sure who's going to be playing at quarterback in this game. Both teams played before earlier in the season. Now, it was a little bit different because the Steelers were a team that they definitely weren't as of now, especially on the defensive side of the ball. The Pittsburgh Steelers on the defensive side of the ball back in that first matchup weren't nearly as good, and they weren't nearly as good against the run. And what have the Miami Dolphins really been doing very well at over the course of the last half of the season? They've been able to run the football. In the games that they've actually lost, they haven't been able to gain a consistent run game in those games with Jay Ajayi. But Jay Ajayi has been their driving force for their offense. And if they're going to win this game, it's going to have to be on the back of Jay Ajayi. I do not think that the Miami Dolphins will win this game. I actually have the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this game. Now, there's a lot of different factors to this. Big Ben will be playing the entire game. He'll be healthy. And I think the biggest reason here is that the Pittsburgh Steelers will be at home. When the Pittsburgh Steelers are at home, they're a different team. They score more points. They play better defense. Their home crowd is a very underrated home crowd, and they have a very interesting home field. It's very windy there. It's hard to kick field goals. It's kind of bad footing, and I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers, they know how to play in their home stadium. I think that they can score a lot of points against this Dolphins defense that is, they've played good down the stretch, but I don't exactly see them as an elite defense. Whoever the quarterback is, doesn't matter, Ryan Tannehill or Matt Moore. I think the Steelers have the experience, they have the coaching, and I think they have the quarterback to overcome the Miami Dolphins in the first round. So I'm going to go with Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Big Ben to beat the Miami Dolphins. The Houston Texans take on the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders are a team that I really feel bad for, because they're a team that hasn't made the playoffs since the last time they made the playoff or the Super Bowl in 2002, when they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in the Rich Gannon days. So now they have this great quarterback this entire season, Derek Carr, this guy that I named the mid-season NFL MVP. He goes down. Now they're going to be stuck with rather McGloin at quarterback or Cook at quarterback, a rookie that's never started, 2 guys that have never started a playoff game. McGloin is kind of a veteran, but he's banged up too, so they don't know if he's going to play. They don't know if McGloin's going to play. I guess that doesn't help the Texans in a way, but the Texans also have quarterback controversies of their own. Osweiler, is he going to play now, because he was pulled for Tom Savage, but Savage seems to be injured. It seems like Tom Savage is probably going to end up playing in this game. I think he is the more talented quarterback. I think he gives the Texans a better chance to win. Not only does he throw less interceptions, he doesn't turn the ball over as much, but I think he overall has a better understanding of the offense. I think he has a better understanding of the playmakers around him and is able to get the ball to those playmakers, DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, Lamar Miller, and he has better arm talent in my opinion. I think Osweiler has a great big arm. He can throw down the field, but he never does. Plays it safe. I think the Texans just, with Savage, give them a better chance to win. In this game, it comes down to this. There's two offenses that are in shambles. So I look to the defensive side of the ball. The defense for the Texans all year has been very consistent, even without J.J. Watt. Jadeveon Clowney has not been getting enough credit for how great this guy has been playing this season. Sure, you look at his sack numbers, and they're not fantastic, but he disrupts every single play. Vince Wilfork is still there in the middle. Guys like Merciless is a beast. Their back end is very underrated on their defense. And I look at the Texans as a defense that are more complete. The Raiders, very inconsistent defense. They've been playing better down the stretch. They've been forcing a lot of turnovers. And if Osweiler plays in this game, that could maybe be the difference. But if Savage is playing in this game, I fully expect the Texans to win. They're at home. They're pretty good at home. And I like their defense to disrupt whatever quarterback is playing. I also like their secondary to slow down Crabtree and Cooper on the outside. So I'm going to go with the Houston Texans to advance to the divisional round in the AFC. So Texans and Steelers in the AFC. In the NFC, the Green Bay Packers versus the New York Giants. The Giants, a team with arguably the best defense in the entire NFL, arguably the best defense in the playoffs. I would probably say that they're the best defense in the playoffs right now. They have probably every single, I think I saw a chart where they're first or second since week 6 in almost every important category when it comes to defense. But their real problem has been on the offensive side of the ball, and you would expect Odell Beckham, Eli Manning, Sterling Shepard, who they drafted, and he's played pretty well this season. Victor Cruz is back in the lineup, but their offense isn't that good. Ben McAdoo became their head coach. He's an offensive mind, but for some reason, they can't get their offense going. But with Eli Manning, he is a guy that always steps it up in playoff time, and he makes clutch plays. He can escape 4 tackles, throw it up for a prayer, and let a guy catch it on his helmet. Whatever happens, Eli Manning gets it done in the NFL playoffs. And I think in this game that he'll get it done again. The Green Bay Packers are a team that I really like as well. This was probably the toughest game for me to pick, maybe in the entire playoffs. I think this game could have a huge impact on the rest of the landscape of the playoffs, which will be very interesting to watch and watch it play out. But I look at the Giants and I see them as a more complete team. I have more faith in the Giants because they have talent on their offense, where I look at the Packers defense, and sure, they've been playing a little bit better, and sure, they can scheme a little bit and confuse Eli a little bit, maybe get a couple turnovers here and there to get them over the top. And of course, you have Aaron Rodgers on the offensive side of the football. But when you look at the Giants secondary, they're going to get Janoris Jenkins back for the playoffs. He can cover a guy like Jordy Nelson. I think they have 3 really talented corners. Landon Collins is one of the best safeties in football. I think their defense is going to win this game for the Giants. They're the more complete team. I look at Odell Beckham. Who the heck is going to cover him on the Green Bay Packers side? Because the Packers, they don't have any cornerbacks. They have Micah Hyde, a free safety. He's playing corner right now. There's a lot of injuries on the Packers defense. I think that they would actually have a pretty big upset if they won this game. But I think it's going to be very close, and I think it's going to come down to the end. I trust Eli Manning in the playoffs, and the Giants seem to have Aaron Rodgers' number when it comes to big games. So I'm going to go with the Giants. I think it's tough, but I'm going to go with the Giants here. I know Eli turns the ball over a lot, but I trust them in the playoffs. I trust that defense, and defense does win championships. I think Aaron Rodgers is a great player, arguably the best in the NFL, but the team around him I just don't think can get it done, especially without a consistent running game. They do have a great offensive line, but I look at that secondary versus the receiver matchup, and I gotta lean towards the Giants. So I'm going with the Giants here, 20-17. Seahawks versus the Lions. The Seattle Seahawks are a team that about halfway through the season, people were like, this is the Seattle Seahawks. This is a tough defense. We're kind of like right after that Patriots win, right? Everyone was like, the Seahawks could really win the Super Bowl again. Russell Wilson looks on fire. Once he gets healthy, they can do damage. I think the CJ Procise loss was actually a huge loss. It hurt them in the passing game out of the backfield. Their offense lost Tyler Lockett. That sucks. He's a deep threat. He's a guy that's good in special teams. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you have Earl Thomas, who's in my opinion, by far the best safety in football. He's out, and their defense hasn't really been the same since he went out. But then there's the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions who, sure, they've played some good football over the course of the season. Matt Stafford is awesome. I love Matt Stafford. I think he's one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated player or quarterback in the NFL. And I just look at the Lions. They don't have a good run game. So they're not going to be able to get consistent gains against the Seahawks defense. Seahawks can focus more on rushing the passer, getting after Matt Stafford at home with a very rowdy crowd. It's Pete Carroll, it's Richard Sherman, it's Cam Chancellor, it's Russell Wilson in playoff time. Very experienced group. I think the Lions are very young, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I very much question their defensive line play in terms of can they get enough pressure on Russell Wilson to make the difference. I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks here. I think it will be pretty close, though. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks 27-20. I think they will score quite a bit of points in this game because I look at the Lions defense and I don't really see them having a huge game here. And I don't really see where they match up too fantastically against the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks 27-20. I think it will be a good game. Again, that home field is a huge thing for me. So I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks to advance to the divisional playoffs. Hawks, Giants, Texans, Steelers in the wild cards. Divisional round, the Chiefs play the Steelers. This is probably the most anticipated game for me, other than the Patriots games, of course. The Chiefs are a team that has taken a lot of people by surprise. They're a team not only that has gained more consistent offense from Alex Smith, from Andy Reid's scheme, from Travis Kelce, who has become one of the best tight ends, probably the second best tight end or third best tight end in the NFL. Of course, you got to respect Rob Gronkowski, who's injured, Greg Olsen, and he's probably the best in the playoffs, so he can make a difference there. Alex Smith, where has been on and off their run game, hasn't been as great as many people expected. Tyreek Hill, of course, he's the story of the Chiefs. Makes plays in the punt returns, kick returns, receiving game. He's going to be a huge difference maker in this game. I don't see where the Steelers can really match up on him. He could maybe get a punt return, a kick return. There's going to be a magical play in this playoffs from Tyreek Hill. I'm just not sure which week it could be against the Steelers. I'm going to guess it will be. Then you have the Steelers, a team with a three-headed attack, like I talked about. Brown, Bell, Roethlisberger. Very talented offense, pretty underrated offensive line. They need the other guys around him. Eli Rogers, Ladarius Green, guys like that to step up in their offense. On defense, they've been better against the run. I think they can have success stopping Ware on the ground. But what it comes down to me is I look at this team. I think the Chiefs rebound from the performance they had earlier in this year against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like the defense of the Chiefs to cause maybe one or two turnovers. Big Ben has been kind of up and down this season, hasn't had his best season. Antonio Brown, I think a lot of teams have shown that you can take him away with, shifting coverage towards him because you don't have a Martavius Bryant on the other side. I think the big difference maker in this game will be Le'Veon Bell and how the Kansas City Chiefs will do against him because they don't really have a guy that I look at and I'm like, Derek Johnson is out. I think he could be a big time weapon in the passing game. So that will be an interesting one to look out for. But the Chiefs on offense, I think that their scheme is great. Their offensive line is pretty talented. Travis Kelce will be a huge mismatch for the Steelers. They have trouble against tight ends. Jeremy Maclin is there. He's back, and Tyreek Hill is there. I like Alex Smith to manage the game and win this one at home. Again, like the Seahawks, very rowdy home field, very cold. And I think the defense for both sides, I give the edge to Kansas City. I'm going to go with the Chiefs 27-24. I think will be a decently high-scoring game. Because, like I said, Le'Veon Bell, Travis Kelce, two mismatches for both defenses. Let's go to the New England Patriots versus the Houston Texans. I'll keep this one brief because it's the New England Patriots versus the Houston Texans. Every single time they play them, it's pretty much a blowout. And the Patriots blew them out. They shut them out at home earlier in the season. That was with Brock Osweiler at quarterback. And on the other side, it was Jacoby Brissett. So now you add Tom Brady in there. You add a better defense for the New England Patriots. This one could get ugly. I'm going to go with the score being 34-9 for the New England Patriots. I don't think they'll let up a touchdown in this game, probably a couple field goals here and there. But the Patriots look loaded. Their offense is playing great. Their defense is playing very, very well. And I think the Patriots roll over the Texans in this game. The Seattle Seahawks versus the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons, I think, will redeem themselves from a game earlier in the season. They basically got that game stolen away from them with a bad ref call in Seattle. That was with Earl Thomas. That was with Tyler Lockett. That was with some players that the Seahawks will sorely miss in this game. Atlanta, I think, has been playing way better down the stretch. Their defense has improved since that game. I think this game, it will be in Atlanta, which is a huge difference maker from Seattle. That dome, the Falcons just play fast on that dome. They're very hard to stop in that dome. And Julio Jones is going to be an issue. Those two running backs are going to be an issue. And Matt Ryan is playing his best football of his career. I like the Falcons' offense to come out on top. I think the Falcons do have some issues on the defense, but where they do have answers is with their pass rush. It's very much improved. And I think that with that bad Seahawks offensive line, like I always say, bad offensive lines don't travel well. The Falcons will have a good day along the defensive line and the offensive lines. So I think the Falcons win 31-27. The New York Giants play the Dallas Cowboys for the third time this year in the divisional round. That's at least my guess. I think this game will be where the Cowboys finally get them. I think it's third time's the charm. They've been close 2 times this season, and very good games. They should have actually won the first game at home. This game is at home. Dak Prescott, I think he's learned from those experiences. I think Jason Garrett has learned from those experiences. I think this will be a defensive game once again. But again, I don't really trust the Giants' offense to be consistent. I think if they do beat the Packers, it should be better, like I said. But I just don't see the Giants being very consistent. The run game, the Cowboys are fantastic against the run. They'll take that away. Then their defensive line is playing much better in pass rushing situations. They should be able to get after Eli Manning. There's only one receiver that you have to really worry about on the Giants. They could take Odell Beckham somewhat away. They usually do have issues with him. And on the defensive side of the ball, the Cowboys should just, I think they need to be kind of conservative, but not too conservative. Dez needs to step up huge. He played terrible against the Giants the last time they played. I think guys like Jason Witten need to step up. I think Zeke in the passing game, get Lance Dunbar, get those other guys, Terrence Williams, Bryce Butler. Those guys are going to need to make the difference because I don't think Dez Bryant's going to be available all game against Janoris Jenkins. So I'm going to take the Cowboys. I think it'll be a very defensive football game. I'm going to go 16-14 for the Dallas Cowboys, and they're going to advance to the NFC Championship. The New England Patriots will play the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship. This is a game I'm really looking forward to. They played last year in the AFC Divisional round. Patriots did win this by a similar score. I think the Patriots are far better than they were last year. The Chiefs are better as well. The Patriots are at home once again. They have home field throughout the entire playoffs. The Chiefs are going to be taken away from their home stadium. They've traveled decently this season, but the Chiefs, I think, have been more inconsistent than the Patriots when it comes to playing down to their competition. This game will be huge. I think there's a couple things it comes down to. Primarily two positions, the head coach and the quarterback. Tom Brady, arguably the best quarterback of all time. In my opinion, the best quarterback of all time. Alex Smith, decent quarterback, not Tom Brady. Andy Reid, very good coach, struggles in the playoffs with a lot of critical decisions. Bill Belichick, arguably, if not the best head coach of all time. I think those two things put the Patriots over the top in this game. I think the Patriots actually do match up very well with the Chiefs. We saw it last season. The Patriots were able to move the ball pretty much at will without a run game. Now they have a run game. You factor in that Derek Johnson is injured, that the Chiefs have been more susceptible to the run, and LeGarrette Blount, Dion Lewis should have a good game in this one. Then you look in the passing game. I think they've had troubles with Gronk last year. I think Martellus Bennett should give them a little bit of trouble, but I think it's going to be Julian Edelman and those quick receivers for the Patriots that make the difference. Their corners there in Kansas City are very big, they're very tall, but they're not very quick. I think that's where a guy like Julian Edelman comes in and has a good game. For the Chiefs offense, I think Travis Kelce didn't have a very good game. The Patriots are very good against tight ends. I think that's something that's gone overlooked. A guy like Patrick Chung or Devin McCourty could easily at least limit Travis Kelce. They'll obviously get him involved. But their run game is going to be the difference maker here. If it's good, then they have a chance. If it's bad, then they don't have a chance. The Patriots' run defense has been superb. They're in the top 5 in run defense this year. I think they shut that down and force Alex Smith to pass in deep situations. The Patriots' cornerbacks have played a lot better, especially Malcolm Butler, and he should probably get the matchup. I'm guessing of a Jeremy Maclin, but that could go to Logan Ryan. It would be very interesting. But I think the Patriots just match up very well on both sides of the ball. I think the quarterback and the coach difference makes a huge difference, and that's why the Patriots will win this game 28-17. Then in the NFC Championship, I have the Dallas Cowboys versus the Atlanta Falcons. This might be the most exciting game and worthwhile NFC Championship matchup because this could be a high-scoring football game. Both offenses are loaded. The offensive lines are great. The defenses are a little bit questionable, but I look to one side where the Cowboys, they're at home in this one. They played better at home. These are two teams that are used to more of the dome feel, and that's why it should be a track meet. I think Julio Jones will give a lot of issues to the Dallas Cowboys. I also think that their running backs will give a lot of issues to the Dallas Cowboys. But then on the other side of the football, I think Zeke will give a lot of issues to the Atlanta Falcons. I think Dez will give a lot of issues to the Atlanta Falcons. So I think it's going to be a shootout. I'm leaning towards the Cowboys here because I think the Cowboys have had the more consistent defense throughout the entire season. I think Sean Lee is playing superb. I think their defensive line is playing better. And I think at home, Rod Marinelli can figure out a scheme to kind of compensate and slow them down, maybe in the red zone, make them kick an extra couple field goals. And that run game for the Cowboys in the red zone has been awesome. So I think that makes a difference. Maybe at the end of the game, just one touchdown to one field goal could be the difference in this game. I think the Dallas Cowboys win 31-28 and advance to the Super Bowl to play the New England Patriots in a very good game. Dak versus Matt Ryan, Dez versus Julio, Freeman versus Zeke. So it's going to be very exciting. The Super Bowl, the New England Patriots versus the Dallas Cowboys. These are two number 1 seeds, and you might say, hey, Mitch, that's a little obvious. Can you do something else? Well, this is really what I feel like. These are the two best teams in football. I feel like they've been the two best teams in football all season long. I think a lot of people are skeptical about the Cowboys because of their past. And the New England Patriots are pretty much a favorite to get to this game. But this is the team of the 90s versus the team of the 2000s, the two most popular teams in America, the two most hated teams in America. And I think this could be made for the biggest viewership in Super Bowl history if the Patriots play the Cowboys. So maybe just for that is why I am rooting for this game. It's Tom Brady versus Dak Prescott. It's Dez versus Edelman. It's Zeke versus Blunt and Lewis. It's Belichick versus Jones there in the front office. And I think this is going to be a great game. But I think at the end of the day, Tom Brady makes a difference. I think Tom Brady set out at the beginning of the year. They've been the best team all season long. I think that he's been 28 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He's arguably playing the best football of his career at this point. And where they match up from an X's and O's standpoint, I like the Patriots because their offense is very creative with Josh McDaniels. I think that the run D for the Cowboys has been good, but I think where the Patriots will get them is in the passing game. I think they can utilize their running backs in this game, James White, Dion Lewis out of the backfield, to maybe have some advantages in the passing game. Julian Edelman last year was a huge issue for the Cowboys, and I know this is a different team, but you look at this year and it's pretty much the same secondary. The Patriots with Julian Edelman, I think he is a huge, big-time player, and I think he'll come through huge. Martellus Bennett is an issue because the Cowboys have not been good all season long against tight ends, and I think that Tom Brady he'll just pick them apart series by series. He knows what Marinelli's going to be wanting to do. You know, they can't play man against the Patriots. They're going to have to play a lot of zone. It's just not going to work for the Cowboys defense. I see the Patriots scoring a lot of points in this game. On the defensive side of the ball, sure, you have Zeke, you have Dez, and you have Witten, but the Patriots have been, like I said, very good against the run, and Belichick is not going to let the Cowboys run all day long. It's never happened. If that is their number one guy to take away, if it's Zeke, Bill Belichick is going to take away Zeke. He is going to do it. And then on the matchup in the wide receivers, you have one of the best corners versus one of the best receivers, and I'll take the corner to at least stabilize in Malcolm Butler that situation with Dez Bryant. I think it comes up to the other guys. I think Patrick Chung or Hightower can take Witten. I think that the Patriots defense actually matches up very well with the Cowboys, and they would prefer to play the Cowboys over a team like the Falcons, where I think they give them more matchup issues. So in this game, I'm going to go with the Patriots just to pull away by a little bit at the end of the game. I think Tom Brady is the ultimate difference maker in this game, and he wins his 5th Super Bowl 34-20 over the Dallas Cowboys. So these are my predictions for the NFL playoffs in 2017. I did pick both the number 1 seeds. I want to know if you guys see it any differently. I think that there are a couple teams in these playoffs that can make a huge difference. I think the New York Giants are a sleeper. The Green Bay Packers are a sleeper. I think the Chiefs, Steelers, and Patriots all have a chance in the AFC. But overall, I see the Patriots versus the Cowboys at the end of the day, with the Patriots taking it to go for two for 3 in the last 3 years. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe to The Bottom Line View for more Super Bowl talk, more NFL talk, more NFL playoff talk. It's Mitch of The Bottom Line View. Peace out.